everyone, welcome back to another video. I've got another non-opening video for you today. I just wanted to talk about something that I recently realized that I thought was interesting as well. So I often will browse this Yugioh website. They have a release calendar. They tell you what's upcoming, what's planned upcoming, what's already come out. They don't have everything on here. We don't always know exactly what's coming out. Sometimes we only know, a couple days in advance or a couple weeks in advance. So the thing that I noticed was Korean cards have been getting reprinted. So if we look at November, according to this release, and you can check eBay to see the results as well, the Korean re-released from Magician's Force, Invasion of Chaos, and Strike of Neos, which is really interesting. These are all older sets, and they're all they're not consecutive either. I mean, Magician's Force and Invasion of Chaos are kind of close to each other. You have Dark Crisis in between those, but Strike of Neos isn't anywhere near these other two. So if we actually look for re-release, over the last few months, the older sets have been being reprinted for the Korean in the Korean language for Korean play. So the interesting thing about Korean cards is the reason why they're so cheap is because they're only allowed to be used in Korea and Korean tournaments. You can't go to Japan and use them, and I think most official tournament stores will not allow you to use them in the United States. So the only place that they're valid for play is in Korea. So you can get booster boxes for really cheap, like super cheap, like $20 cheap. But I thought this was really interesting because of those two facts that I just stated, the fact that not a lot of people play it and it can only be used in Korean sanctioned tournaments. Why is Konami reprinting these sets? And not really in order, in any kind of order. I mean, back here in September, they re-released Legend of Blue Eyes. October, they released Cybernetic Revolutions, Shadow of Infinity, and Phantom Darkness, and Booster SP Triforce. I don't know what that is. But it looks like the re-releases have been getting a little bit more frequent. In September, we only had Blue Eyes White, Legend of Blue Eyes. Then we had CRV, Shadow of Infinity, and Phantom Darkness. And now we're getting Magician's Force, Invasion of Chaos, and Strike of Neos. So I would really love to know why this is happening. Why are these older sets getting re-released in Korean? I mean, does that mean something for the TCG? Does that mean that we're going to start seeing older sets over here in the TCG being reprinted as well? I think Tim from Yugioh Tube, I think his name is, he made a video a little while ago talking about how one of the big online stores, I don't remember the name of it, was it Card Market, had actually put up like teasers, or I guess like links to sets that were coming out, future sets, and many of those included Strike of Neos and Phantom Darkness and all these older sets. So perhaps that meant Korean re-release. Maybe it meant the English re-release. I mean, we don't know. I guess we're just going to have to find out. But one point that he mentioned, and I completely agree with, is when you're collecting cards, if you collect, always collect first edition. Because we've seen it with these older, even Legend of Blue Eyes and Invasion of Chaos and Pharaoh's Servant, all those older classic packs got reprinted in the Legendary Collection. But they weren't first edition because, once the first edition printing is done, that's it. They're not going to print again in first edition. They're not going to re-release Legend of Blue Eyes in first edition. That would do more harm than good. It would completely kill the collector's market. I mean, all of a sudden, everyone who'd been collecting first edition cards would, now assume that any other card can get reprinted, and that would drive the value down, drive the collectors away from collecting, really, since everything can get reprinted. Unlimited is a different case. Unlimited will get reprinted and can get reprinted, and that doesn't really affect me all that much. It's just the first edition stuff. If the first edition stuff gets reprinted, that's a problem. I think even if the tournament pack stuff gets reprinted, that's a problem. You know, tournament pack 1 through 8. I've got a video where I talk about that coming up pretty soon, the tournament pack stuff. But yeah, guys, that's all I wanted to really talk about. I thought this was an interesting trend I saw. Perhaps going into the new year, we'll see even more of these Korean sets being reprinted. I've got a couple orders in for some Magician's Force. I'm going to try to open some boxes and maybe I can get a Dark Magician Girl. I mean, of all the older sets here that are listed, the most desired card would be Blue Eyes White Dragon from Legend of Blue Eyes. I guess a lot of people like to collect the Chaos Emperor Dragon from Invasion of Chaos, and of course Dark Magician Girl from Magician's Force. Those two cards in particular, Blue Eyes and Dark Magician Girl, are extremely collectible cards in pretty much any language. I think those cards graded will still hold a very high premium just because they look very similar to the English cards, and I'll show you really quickly. If we MFCKR, they look very similar in terms of art. Japanese cards, you'll know, they look a little bit different, but the Korean cards actually have very similar printing styles to the TCG. It's just in a different language. So as you can see on eBay here, we've got, you know, tons of these Magician's Force boxes. This guy's selling, you know, more than 10, and he's already sold 70. So yeah, definitely gonna buy some of these, trying to get that Dark Magician Girl. I've got some LOB stuff, gonna try to get the Blue Eyes, but yeah, these are super cheap. If you've got that nostalgia kick and you want to open some packs, this is a great way to, you know, get some of that nostalgia back without having to spend thousands of dollars on these old school boxes. Sorry I've rambled on a little bit more than I meant to, but I just wanted to talk about this really quick. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think about these older sets getting reprinted in Korean and what that means for the TCG. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.